Hi everyone, it's Fancy, and I thought I would quickly show you how to create thought bubbles and word bubbles for this first project. And I wanted to note that my workspace is set to Essential Classics. So if yours isn't, we're probably not seeing the same tools on the right side of our document window. So go ahead and choose Essential Classics. You can also say Reset Essential Classics if anything gets out of order, and collapse that. Okay, I'm going to go over to my shape tool. I'm choosing the ellipse tool, and I'm going to just draw an elliptical shape, whatever size and shape that I want it. And then I'm going to go over to my pen tool, and I'm going to draw kind of a little triangular shape like that. And then I choose both of them. So the way that I choose both is I use my selection tool to drag a marquee over them. I could also hold down my shift and select them both, or because there's only two objects on my page, I could hit Command A and select everything on my page. With that, I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to choose the Pathfinder window, or floating panel. Put that over there. And I want to combine these two shapes, so I pick the first selection in the shape mode area. So now it's one shape. With that, I go to my text tool and I click into it. It adds a text frame for me. I can drag it around. Using my type tool, I can highlight all the type and I can change the size. So it's kind of nice. I can drag through here and preview it. And actually, I think I'm going to choose 36. So you can see 60 is way too big, 36 is what I wanted in the first place. And say hi there. At that point, I can switch over to press escape, and that takes me back to my selection tool, and I can drag it around my word bubble. One thing I wanted to point out, you see as I'm dragging this around, it's kind of snapping. I've got snap to grid on here. I've got my grid turned on, and I've got my snap to grid turned on. I'm going to turn it off just for a moment. I can use the shortcut, so see how it's a little bit more fluid. I can nudge it around with my left, right, up and down arrows, that kind of thing. Maybe over to the left. At this point, I think I'd like to put a drop shadow in behind my word bubble. So I can go up to Effects and down to Stylize, use a drop shadow. I can preview it and then change the settings to get a different look if I want. I'm just keeping the defaults. I could change the color, I could change the amount of blur, I could move the drop shadow away from its source by setting the X and Y offsets, moving them up and down or left and right, and I can change the opacity. I can also change the blend mode, and right now I'm just going to leave it as the default. There we go. So there's my simple thought bubble. One more thing I could do is just kind of group my shape with my text. So Command G is group. Otherwise, you'll find it under object group. It's grayed out right now because I've already grouped them together. I could ungroup them as well. Right, so there's my speech bubble. Next, I'm going to create a thought bubble, which is a little different. There's got to be a million ways you could do this. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to create a series of circles that overlap, and I'm going to go back to the default white and black mode, white fill, black stroke. And I'm also going to hold down my shift button so that my circles are kind of nice and round. So I could just draw a bunch of bubbles and then I could rearrange them. Because remember, we're using our Pathfinder tool. Something like that. And so then I'm going to use my selection tool. I'm going to drag a box over them. Select them all, go back to my Pathfinder. Oh, there's my thought bubble. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that shape. If I wanted to change these around, I could highlight the shape with my direct selection tool, the white one. So that shows me all my different anchor points. If they're white, that means the anchor point isn't selected. And I could go in there and, change the path if I wanted to, right? Kind of skew it a little bit, whatever I want to do. But right now I just want to add a few little bubbles. So again, I'm holding down my shift and something like that. Again, I could highlight them all, and I could go up to Effect and Stylize and Drop Shadow, preview it, and say OK. And there it is. And then I could add text just the same way. So if you like this, give it a try, and I look forward to your comments.